Welcome back to the video blog. It's a double shot of video blogs today. My name is Adam Daniel Mezei. If you haven't gone over to pmdforhire.com and just Google plussed it, plus one'd it, I'd really appreciate that if you could do so. Thanks again for watching. Something that came about in a discussion with a couple of my friends last night was the need to watch the things that you say and to be careful how you use language and to be very observant of how certain, let us say, linguistic, possibly discriminatory words have crept into your language that you don't even know that you're using, that convey the vilest of ideas, or that are basically representative of probably the worst in human characters that you're describing. Now, let's give you an example. If you've been following what's going on my Facebook wall, of course, facebook.com/therealadm, if you've been following what's going on in Facebook, I take a real aversion to words like the Balkanization of. The Balkanization of something means basically breaking things down into independent parts or dismantling or disaggregating things to the extent that you have separate islands of, in this case it would be of jurisdiction that don't really correspond one with the other. The breaking up of something into fiefdoms. And this comes, of course, from the history of the Balkans region, primarily the former Yugoslavia, and its constituent nations, which, over time, not just in the 90s, but over time were broken out into like separate nationalist or whatever governmental agencies or departments. I don't like that word because I find it's very discriminatory. It's basically pointing the finger at people from the Balkans, whether they're Bulgarians or Romanians or Serbs or, whatever. I don't want to say any other kind of group, or Montenegrins. Those are my favorite peoples. The other people just further to the west, well, let's not go there. But I have a problem with that because you're basically saying that these people have a kind of a tendency, a propensity towards something, and that you're basically saying that those people are X, Y, and Z. Now, I don't want to start using 4- and 7-letter words or other cuss or dirty language, but I was kind of talking with my friends and I said a couple of dirty words, and they're like, "Do you realize what you're saying?" And I go, "Wait a second, I didn't really mean it that way, but now that you think about it, I see how language is pernicious, the perniciousness of language, and how it penetrates the psyche, and it does so in very insidious ways to the extent that you don't even realize that the things that you're saying are actually pumped full of like poison. They're loaded. The words that you use are loaded with bullets. And when you utter these things, you're basically being a tool, and you don't even realize that you're being a tool because you've become so accustomed to saying these things repeatedly that you don't even realize the extent to which language has penetrated your thoughts, your mannerisms, your thoughts, your deed, your speech. And this conversation with, and they know who they are, I'm so grateful that you pointed this out to me, because now I'm going to be more conscious of how some of the things that I say have penetrated my thoughts. A lot of people don't want to think this deeply, a lot of people just want to get by, get through the day, but I'm telling you, if you're responsible for people, for little people, if you're a parent and you're saying things and you don't realize how these things actually penetrate your child's thinking or thought processes, check yourself before you really wreck somebody else's situation, and before you really kind of poison, I think that word is appropriate, before you poison and sully somebody else's pure thoughts and you saddle them with baggage, yes, baggage, things that they don't need that are going to eventually weigh them down in a way that they shouldn't be weighed down. Watch what you say. What you say carries a lot of weight, and it carries a lot of import. Sometimes you convey concepts and ideas that you really don't want to convey. So that's the thought of the day. Double shot of videos at the ADM video blog. Check me out, of course, at adamdanielmezei.com. I would really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And for anybody who hasn't received a LinkedIn recommendation from me yet, I would be delighted to give you one. Just add me on LinkedIn. I'll put one through for you. Toot sweet. Take care.